Welcome everyone. This is Ho-Jang Kim from Kim Coaching Group. Continuing from the last episode, I'd like to talk about some unique challenges that women are facing these days. As I mentioned in the last episode, we are living in a time that women have unlimited amount of opportunities and possibilities to pursue their dream. We keep hearing the sky is the limit. You can be anything you want that you put your mind to. We have access to these amazing possibilities that our grandmothers couldn't even dream of. I shared in the last episode that my grandmother was not allowed to study. And because of that, she wanted to really educate her daughter. So my mother was allowed to study, but she was not allowed to have a career. So I am the first generation women in my family who could study and also pursue our career. And this is not just unique to me. There are a lot of other women who has very similar experience. And my question is, despite all these opportunities and possibilities, why there are so many women still struggling so much? In one hand, we feel empowered, all the opportunities and possibilities, you can be anything you want. But on the other hand, we are not really sure how. Because last episode, we talked about limited relatable role models. This is what I want to be, but I don't see anybody who did anything like that. And I don't know how to figure it out. All right. So although everything's possible, at the same time, it's not quite easy to figure out how to really get to our goal and our dreams. And today, in addition to those limited role models, I want to talk about the shifting values. Our society has changed drastically in the last generations, but societal values have been changing slowly and catching up with it. So think about my grandmother's generation. The life was simple. For women, all they need to care about is be a good daughter and get married to a guy and be a good wife and raise a good family, raise good children. That's the most important thing. And as long as you do that, you're good. Right. And then for my father's generation, so the women are typically not allowed to have career. But in my father's generation's men, they study hard, get a good job, and they just work in their company for the rest of their life, and they are all set. So the life was, in some sense, simple, and what is success looks like was given from the society. And these days, because of also we live much longer, and also society is changing so fast, we have multiple careers in our lives. In my personal cases, I was in academia, and then I was in tech industry in Silicon Valley, and now I'm an entrepreneur. So I have like 3 different careers in my life. And each career, you probably have multiple different jobs, work with different organizations. So that becomes very normal. We have very different lifestyles we have compared to our grandparents' generations or even our parents' generation. However, the value of okay, you have to be a good wife, good mother, that's so important, is still very strong. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but plus that you also have to be a successful career woman. So the thing is, at that time, women has to do only be a good mother and daughter and good wife. Now, plus you have to be also a successful career person. And that means it's much harder to achieve it because you have a lot more goals to check off to be able to be a successful. That's why we hear a lot more frequently, I'm not good enough. Even if you're an amazing mother and daughter and wife, you think your career is not as good and I'm not good enough. Even if you're an amazing career person, but you feel like you're not the best mom and daughter and wife, I'm not good enough. And those nagging voices, I'm not good enough, is introducing imposter syndrome and all those issues that holding the women's back from really succeeding. And another challenge is because of women are going into a lot of areas that there was no women before, there are a lot of eyes like, can women really do it? So I hear women says, I need to be able to show that I can do it as a woman. That means I need to be able to do it. I need to be able to handle this kind of challenge by myself. So women started to have tendency not to asking for help, but be able to show that I can do it by myself. And in one hand, this is a good thing. Women achieved a lot of things and surprised a lot of people. But on the other hand, this is also draining energy. There are things that you can ask for help and do it together and go longer. But instead, you are the pioneer who always have to do everything by yourself. It's draining, and there's a better chance that you'll give up before you actually reach your final destination. In my grandmother's generation and also my parents' generation, father figure or husband figure was the one who's supposed to be the leader of the family. They are supposed to take all the leadership positions even outside and supposed to bring the most money to the family too. And that traditional value is still impacting some women in a negative way, such as they are hesitant to take titles higher than their husband, or they feel bad if they make more money than their husband. So those things will be unnecessarily energy draining and holding people back from achieving their goal for women. The society is changing so fast. Probably the changes in the next 30 years will be even more faster than the changes in the last 30 years. And because our life expectancy is getting longer, we have to deal with a lot more changes in our lifetime. And all these changes also contribute with these shifting values. A lot of things that we don't think is a nice thing to do may be norm in the next 10 years or 20 years. And our values, current values, are following and adapting to it slowly. And when there are so much changes in terms of changing itself, and also our values that what's important to us, what's a good thing to do, nice thing to do, all these things are changing so fast. It's hard to navigate. It could be overwhelming and energy draining. So, what's the most important thing that ever is really anchoring to what's important to you, who you are, what's really important to you, and anchor to it and using it as a true north to navigate all these challenges and changes in values. And I don't even know what's going to happen in the next 30 years, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of things that will be surprised when we think about it. So, what does that mean? So I want you to think about one, what really excites you? Not titles and roles and I want to be IC, I want to be people manager, or I want to make this amount of money, or any of those. What aspect really make you excited? Even when nobody knows about it, even when nobody compliments about it just excites you so much. You just keep seeking to it. You just keep doing it. What are those aspects? And two, what impact do you want to make? A lot of jobs, they give us the goal, like what kind of impact we should make. But in your life, what kind of impact you want to make to the world? So think about that. And three is your core values. What really matters to you? And that will be your guiding hand to figure out and making decisions at every moment. And when you are clear about all your these internal guidelines, then you anchor to it. Even if there are so many things swaying you, you will still get swayed with the wave a little bit, but you can still anchor to your truth to yourself and you can navigate it a lot better. And you don't have to expect for external validation anymore, which makes things much calmer, even though outside may be stormy. I just said one of the key things is find out what's really excites you. And if you feel like that's a little bit challenging to do yourself, consider joining the workshop I'm hosting. It's called I Know I Should Do Something, but what? Isn't it resonating with what you're thinking? At least it is to me. So, in that workshop, we are going to do exactly that figure out what aspect of your career that you actually enjoy and think about where is the gap, like how much you are satisfying what really excites you, and then where is the gap, and what was the one step you can take to have those gaps reduced. And of course, there are other things that you should consider, like what kind of impact you want to make and what are your core values. That will become in the later part in the Women Leaders Community Mastermind Club. So if those things sound interesting, also check it out. Thank you.